Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Angelic Muhammad.
Things that occurred in my life and how I was able to get through those things because of the grace of God, the grace of support, and the grace of self-determination. So I'm going to tell you my story backwards. So not too long ago, this July, I graduated with my doctorate degree in international psychology, where it allows me to go around the world to be able to teach other people, to help people through trauma, to help people build better relationships and have effective communication skills. Prior to that, I got my master's. But while I was going through my master's, I was pregnant. But I became pregnant because I was raped. And during that time, I'm trying to go to school, I'm working, I have a 2-year-old child, and I have all these emotions going on. And so every day, I'm rubbing my belly and telling myself, Mom and Daddy love you, Mom and Daddy love you, Father and Daddy love you. Because I know that what I feel, my child feel. And I didn't want my child to be hindered because of what occurred to me. 3 months into my pregnancy, I was told I was losing my baby. And the doctor told me, well, you have to keep your child for 2 weeks in order for it to dissolve or do something before we can take it. So I had to walk around 2 weeks, going to school, taking care of a child and working, knowing that the child inside of me is dying. I didn't know what to do. But what I knew I had to do was go to school, take care of my child, and work. So on the inside, I was breaking down. I didn't feel good because I'm like, I'm going through this again. But this was the first time I lost a child. Prior to that, I was in college. I was getting my bachelor's degree. And everything seemed to be great, but I had a child my sophomore year of college. I had a child with the guy who actually raped me the second time. So when I got pregnant, we were together. He left 3 months into my pregnancy. He left and came back, and during those comeback times, not that we were together, him coming back, he'll just come into my house. He'll come in and feel like that he owned me. He'll come in and tell me that he didn't like to be turned down. And so I was in school, trying to get my bachelor's, trying to get my education in psychology. But at home, when I come home, I was being raped. And then I had to finagle my schedule to make sure I was gone before he happened to show up, even though he wasn't living with me, because he moved out. He moved down the street with another woman. So I had to take another route because I didn't want to see him when I drove past. I didn't want to know him to be there. So I was depressed. My grades were dropping. But lo and behold, my professors had supported me. Because in order for me to get my PhD, I had to have some type of self-determination. There had to be self-determination in there. And so when I'm getting my bachelor's degree, I had support. Support I didn't even know where it was going to come from. It just came. And in that support, they allowed me to bring my son to school. Because his father told me if something happens to him while you gone and I'm asleep, it's on you. I didn't ask for me to bring my child to school. I didn't ask at all. That was something that they offered to me. I said, has this ever been done? They said, no, but it's okay. I said, okay. Well, what if my other professors don't agree? They said, they will. And so for something inside of me said, you must have talked to my other professors because I wasn't doing as well as I used to. prior to this, because when he brought me in the office and he said, "You're almost on academic probation. What is going on? This is not you. Do you have somebody to keep your baby?" And I try not to cry in the office, and I didn't cry. And before long, he said, "Well, just bring him to class." I'm like, "Bring him to class? I got to go to school. What are you talking about? Bring him to class, Angelic. Bring him to class." Angelic brought her baby to class after I talked to all my professors. Everybody was excited about it. I breastfed in class. I went to school. I did my work in class. It was to the point where he started walking. Now he in class walking around. I'm like, okay, we can't do this. I remember one day we were doing speeches, and someone was doing their speech, and we were in Dr. Speaker class. That was my abnormal psychology class. So my son decided he wanted to get up and I guess give a speech too, because he wanted to crawl around the class and laugh and play. And I'm like, "Get over here, get over here." So I'm trying to get him to sit down. My professor looked at me, he said, "What do you mean? She's trying to give a speech." He said, "He's fine." Okay, but he was fine. Eventually he settled down and he just played and he was okay. And eventually I did put him in daycare because he's just getting too big. He's just getting too big. But the support there, the support from my friends at the Ujima house when I didn't feel like I had anywhere to go, because the father of my child would follow me at work. He would come to my job and harass me, and he would try to come to my house and told me if I didn't pick up the phone he was coming, so I would try to hide. So I knew he'd get off in the evenings. I went to school during the day, so I would drive. I would just leave my apartment and just go drive, so I wouldn't have to see him. And so I got tired, and I went to the girls' house, and they just kept me there. And then he eventually found me, but they said, "No, you can't see him." And nobody knew exactly what was going on, but they were all there to support me. They fed me. Sometimes I didn't have food in the refrigerator that I like to eat because it would make me sick. But for some reason, there was food outside my door. My neighbors from downstairs didn't really know me, didn't know I didn't have food that I didn't like to eat, but it was baskets of food outside of my door so I could eat. And I said, "Oh Lord, where is this coming from?" And I just didn't question it. And sometimes my girlfriends would call me and they would just cook dinner for me, and I just go over there and eat. And my son's current godfather him and his girlfriend at the time would cook, and he would just rub my belly and then just talk to my son, and my son dancing around and jumping, and I fall asleep. And that's the only sleep I could get, and I was just so excited that I had people in my life because I was far away from my family. They didn't know what was going on because I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to tell anybody what was going on. I was ashamed. I felt guilty because in some part of me I still loved this man and I didn't know why. And so at some point, I felt like maybe I asked for it, even though I didn't, even though I said no, even though I screamed, even though I cried, even though I didn't want to be touched. At some point, I felt like I allowed it. And I didn't understand mentally, emotionally, or psychologically what was going on with me. I just know that this was occurring. Prior to that, before I had the baby, things were great, but we did have our red flag times. So things were happening that I didn't realize because I was just so involved in school. I was just so, excited about being with the Black Student Union, doing these types of things. I went to a predominantly white college, but we had our Black moments, and we enjoyed ourselves. And it didn't matter what color you were. I didn't feel it did. We all had fun together, and we worked together, and I did plays and this, and I wanted to join the swim team, but I was talked out of doing it because it was like, "You're not around for me," so I didn't get on the swim team, but I stayed in theater, in which I love to do theater, even though it was a hassle all the time coming home, and it's like, you're doing this, you're doing that, but theater was giving me a scholarship, so I was staying in theater. But we don't think about those times. Even before meeting him, before going to college, as a little girl, I was molested by my best friend who was my cousin. And I didn't understand what was going on when I was younger, but then there was that one time, the last time, where I was old enough, I was 12, and I can remember, and I still, even as I speak, I can vividly see these things happening to me. They don't affect me like they used to, but I can still see these things vividly happening to me. And then when my mom said, we're going over so-and-so house, y'all going over there, and I didn't want to go, and my mom thought it was weird because I always want to go. I always want to go have fun. But I didn't want to go this time, and she said, what's going on? And I didn't want to tell her, and I just started crying and crying, and she just said, Angel, what's wrong? And she started crying, and it was just a big thing. She didn't know, and then eventually I told her, and of course, when we confronted him, he denied it. But so this stems from not just the time where it happened at school, but it also stemmed from there, and I didn't realize how much these things affected my self-esteem, affected my self-worth, and affected who I was and who I was becoming as I was growing up. And people who didn't know me personally, my family, my immediate family would say I was angry a lot of times, and I was a difficult child, and I think some of that's just because I was probably just stubborn. But some of it, now that I know more, I know that where it came from. I know those things, and then I start thinking about how, I was violated and didn't recognize what violation was, because that's not something we talked about. That wasn't a topic of conversation when we discussed things, violation. Because it didn't happen, because most of the time you stayed at home. You didn't go spend the night at nobody's house. And so it was okay because it was my cousin. And so you didn't spend the night at people's house, so that wasn't even a topic of conversation. So I pray, and I'm glad, I'm thankful that I had God to give me food, to give me the support that I need, to give me the self-determination to where I needed to get to, and to continue to grow me as a young mother, to continue to grow me as a single mom, to continue to grow me to be able to raise my son, who actually turned 14 today. Today is his birthday. And for him to be the young man that he is, I'm so proud of who he is as an individual. And I always just say, I'm a bad mom, I don't know what I'm doing, and this, and people always praise me on how well my son is and how good he's doing, and I'm just like, y'all just don't know, y'all just don't understand, because when we talk about bottom from the top, and you look at things such as when you're trying to feed your child and you eat last because you don't know if it's enough, or you counting the apples in the refrigerator because you want to make sure he has enough in the refrigerator to go to school. Or when you're buying your groceries and you start to sweat because you want to make sure there's enough money to get all your groceries. And you become nervous, and you become scared, and you become timid, and you just don't know what to do. And so I thought I had it. I thought I was good, because it's like, okay, I have God, I have support, I have, self-determination, but what I was missing was love. There's no way that I can serve God and not love myself. So how can I love God honestly and not love myself? God said that I'm a part of you. If you dissing yourself, you dissing me. So you just crossed me out of the equation. I had to learn to love myself. I had to find my voice. I had to understand who Angelic is, who Angelic was, and how Angelic was coming to be. So I had to learn to love me and not people please and think that's the way love was supposed to be. Because I'm a giver by nature. I'm a caretaker by nature. I'm a nurturer. That's me. So I'm pouring all into everybody, but I forget to pour into myself. And so I miss who I was. So I'm just going through life. Life is just happening. And I'm just moving. Life just happened. And I remember a day where I went to the gas station, and the gas was $2 and something. And I'm about to get gas. And I'm look over my son, I said, when did gas get $2.30 something? He said, Mama, it's been $2.30-something. I said, no, last week I paid $1 and something. I know I paid $1 and something. So we're in the car before I even get out to get the gas, because I need to find the gas station I went to last week that was $1 and something. He said, Mama, the gas been $2.30-something. I said, no. I had to call a friend. I called one of my friends, and she said, Angelic, the gas been $2.30 for like a year or two now. I don't know what you've been doing. I said, no, I'm not paying. I'm like, serious. I'm serious. I hung up with her because she knew what she was talking about either. So I had to call my sister. So I called my sister, and my sister didn't even pay attention to what I was talking about. All she said was, Angelic, my family called me Angel. She said, Angel, you've been moving so fast, you don't even know how much the gas is. And in that moment at the gas station, I took a deep breath and I said, oh my God. I don't even know how much the gas is that I go get every week. What else in life am I missing out on if I don't even know how much the gas is? How many trips I've not been on? How many places I've not been, and I've missed stuff because when I'm going out, when I'm doing stuff, I'm taking care of other people. I'm doing stuff for others. I'm missing me because I'm not loving myself and paying attention to who I am. So I can't come into who I am totally because I'm trying to make everybody else who they are totally. I had to learn myself. I had to find my voice. So along with God came love. They always say, I don't have nobody, this, that, thus and so. And I did. I have support. And so I had to look at family. Thank you, Lord, that I have a great supportive family. And then my immediate family, my son. He has been with me from day one. From my bachelor's to my master's to my PhD. And he has been in my corner. He has cheered me on. I told him I was going to beat him up because he's not here today, but I'm going to give him a pass because it's his birthday. He was with me this morning. We volunteered this morning, so great. But, so when I look at my life and I look at things about who I am as an individual, I'm loved, I'm God. I'm family and support. And I had to have self-determination to get where I am and where I'm going. My purpose is to, as I always say, empower a nation, but I was saying that for the longest and I didn't even know what it meant. Because I'm just moving. I'm just trying to do. I'm just trying to be here, trying to be there, trying to do this. And I allowed my story to come who I was. My story is not who I am. My story is what I've been through. And that's why I got tired of my story. Who want to hear about somebody getting raped? Nobody want to hear about that. Who want to hear about somebody, being molested? Nobody want to hear about that. Who want to hear about somebody being, under depression and by default fell out of school and stuff like that? But people do want to hear that. I was making it about me. Because there's somebody in the world out here who's going through it at this time, and who needs to know this does not have to be my story. This does not have to be me. This does not have to identify who I am as an individual. And they need to know that they have support. They can live their life and have purpose and have meaning and move past what happened and go where they need to go. But you have to have things and people in your life. It's okay. And I have an illness, a great illness. And the illness is asking for help. I don't like to ask for help, but if somebody asks for help, I'm just open arms. I'm here. And it's still, my parents still get on me about it to this day. I'm like, I'm doing better. I'm doing a little better. They say, okay, you're doing a little better. But I tell you, my war didn't even start at molestation. My war started when I was born. When I was born, my mother, she said, well, before I was born, my mom was sick, ill, she fainted a lot. She was bedridden a lot. But when my mom was giving birth, I had 3 true knots in my umbilical cord. Typically, when you have 2, it's like, I think, less than 1% or so for you to live. I had 3. I was coming out blue. So I was coming out dead. The doctors asked my mom, who you want to live, you or your child? And my mom said, we're both going to live. My mama turned 63 in 2 days. She's still alive. And she's just busy. I don't know what she's doing. So my story and my trauma started, we all go through a trauma at birth. But I came out in even double trauma. I came out practically dead. So I said, if the devil was trying to kill me at birth, it must be something special about me. My mom said, angels told me to name you Angelic because you're an angel, because you have purpose, but I didn't understand what my purpose was. And so through my life, I had these daggers. Through my life, I had these things that's been trying to cut me down and not be who I'm supposed to be. I have cried, I have kicked, I have screamed. I said, oh Lord, why me? We have those moments. We're human. We have those moments. And sometimes you just, I wanted to give up on my degree so many times. It's like, Lord, I can't do this. But I tell you, every day I push. I have scoliosis. I have plantar fasciitis. But I work out all the time. You always gonna catch me in the gym. Hey, I do Stone Mountain all the time. I don't let it stop me. I have a learning disability that I didn't find out that I had until I was 30 years old. So I had to finagle my way through school. But I did it because I had drive and self-determination. Heck, I got arthritis in my neck. I'm like, I'm too young for this. God darn it. How many daggers am I going to get? Why do I have to have all this stuff? But it's not about the stuff. It's about how you process through that stuff. How do you look at life and say, you know what? Life is about me pleasing the Most High. Life is about me having purpose. Life is about me being determined to be who I'm supposed to be. But I can't be that if I'm worried about and being selfish of what's going on, not being able to share, not being able to push myself to do more than what I think I can. Because we have it in us. We just have to be willing to do it in order to grow to be where we need to be in life. And so my mission has always been to empower a nation, and I'm able to do that. Right now I run a program. It's called International Trauma Coaching Program, where I teach people about trauma. And I work with people on their own personal trauma. And we're scheduling our first trip next year to go back to Africa to be able to implement what we're doing and be able to teach other people about, teach and learn, I should say, about trauma. And so many other countries have signed on that want to do this with me, like Honduras and Australia and Sierra Leone and other countries, for me to be able to go and be able to teach and to bring groups from America to be able to do that. And I'm so excited about that. And so not only do I do that, but I'm also a life coach where I help move people to their purpose. So through my story and through what I do and through my education, because we're going to use this education because I've been doing it just for too long, I'm able to help other people grow. And that's what it's about. If you're in this world today, it's important for you to help other people grow. Because if you help somebody else grow, it helps you grow. It's so much that I learned from my clients. It's so much that I learned from people that I meet, that I talk to. I said, oh, you just helped me. We helping each other because that's what it's about. It doesn't matter if I was a millionaire. If I'm not helping anybody, I'm stagnant. I'm not happy. I'm lonely. I got a lot of money. My bills might be paid, but I'm but I'm lonely and stagnant. It's about growth. So with God and love, with family and support, and with self-determination, I'm here to be the best angelic, the best doctor that I can be to be able to help others. And that's my life mission, that's my purpose, and that's what I'm going to do from today and here out. And I thank everybody who joined today to listen to the various speakers on the bottom to the top tour, to hear their stories, because there's going to be one of us that's going to catch something, and they're going to grow through what we said. And so I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Continue to learn, continue to grow, and to continue to be beautiful people. Thank you.
The Bottom to the Top tour is not a moment, it is a movement. If you've been inspired by the powerful testimonies of the speakers that you have heard today, you have an opportunity to have your own copy of the new soon-to-be-released book, Testify. You don't want to miss the opportunity to read through the details of the stories, the trials, the challenges, and the triumphs of the 12 speakers featured on the Bottom to the Top Tour Atlanta. If you would like to bring the Bottom to the Top Tour to your local city and your local town, please dial 1-866-686-5836. Again, the Bottom to the Top Tour, not a moment, it's a movement.